The impeachment hearings are ongoing, and it is the stupidest waste of time I've ever seen. They're basically just saying the same things over and over again. Donald Trump was trying to get personal gain, and I'm like, none of this is established. Then you got the Republicans trying to raise points of order, but I will say one thing before getting into the story. Jerry Nadler got called out, okay? Here's what happens. They say a Republican raised a point of order. The individual, said something about Trump's motives, struck it from the record. Nadler goes, they're not witnesses. They're just staffers giving, he said they're just here as witnesses. They're not being held under the same rules as members. So then Nadler bangs a gavel and he wins, right? Later on, he's asked why he didn't put them under oath. And he says, we will, but, they're not witnesses, they're staffers. And so then one Republican guy's all like, wait a minute, hold on. You just said they weren't held to the same rules as members and staffers, but now you're saying they're staffers, which is it? So he bangs the gavel. And of course, they do a roll call vote. All the Democrats are like, we're not gonna follow the rules because they can just vote it out. So it's complete and utter trash and nonsense. And I'll tell you what, for 4 p.m., I ain't talking about, I'm talking about immigration, all right? But I got to do it because Owen Schroyer, I believe I'm getting your name right, just started protesting and yelling about how they reject this and everything. I found it funny because he's clearly protesting, but NBC calls him a heckler. Okay, fine. Technically the truth. Owen Schroyer was clearly protesting the impeachment hearings. Whether you want to appreciate or criticize him for that is irrelevant. The fact is, protests like this happen. But I will tell you this, Mr. Schroyer, it doesn't matter. In fact, no. You know what I'm going to do? I condemn Schroyer, your protest, and I'll tell you why. I'm kidding, by the way, but the joke is, polls are improving dramatically for Trump since the start of the impeachment process. So there's no reason to protest. I mean, it's literally helping your guy, right? Check this out. In a head-to-head, Biden versus Trump, Biden had the advantage until impeachment. You know why? Because the impeachment is centered around Joe Biden's corruption. I mean, his son's corruption, but he's attached to this too. So I'll tell you what, Democrats, all you did was Streisand affect the Ukraine scandal. So the story about Owen Schroyer, protesting, and I think he got arrested. It's not, I don't know why it warrants this huge story, but I will, for those that didn't see the video of him doing it, you should check it out. And he said, Jerry Nadler and the Democrat Party are committing treason against this country. We voted for Donald Trump, and they're simply removing him because they don't like him. You're the ones committing treason, Schroyer yelled. Trump is innocent. Schroyer was escorted out of the hearing room by officers less than 40 seconds after his tirade began. He had recorded the interruption and quickly uploaded it to Twitter after his removal. So I don't think he was arrested if he was able to upload it to Twitter. Actually, I'm sorry. No, he was streaming. Obviously, I shouldn't have to remind everyone that the audience is here to observe and not to demonstrate. I will say, First Amendment protest, you reap the consequences of your protest. I don't care who you are, left or right. But I'm pretty much on board with civil disobedience. Look, when the Extinction Rebellion people blocked intersections, my response was, I think it's ineffective and stupid, but I respect nonviolent civil disobedience. I really do. Okay, if you want to get out there and make sure that people hear who you are and what you're doing, well, it worked. Personally, I think it's ineffective because I actually worked for these nonprofits and I figured out, the best ways to actually convince people of these issues. But I respect nonviolent civil disobedience. So in this regard, same as any other protest, hey man, more power to you. They removed him. There you go. He got to say what he wanted to say. They go on to then, I don't know, whatever. He's Alex Jones, InfoWars, et cetera. They call him a heckler. Okay, come on, man. Dude's protesting. We get it. But here's what's really, really funny about all this. I'm sorry I have to say this to you guys again, because literally every day, I'm not exaggerating when I say literally every day, there is some news story about how Trump is improving due to impeachment. Why? Just a couple days ago, Andrew Yang, Democratic presidential candidate. Okay, he's actually doing pretty well. I think he's polling like 6% now. He's doing great. I like the guy. I don't think he's perfect. I think he's got some things wrong. I always say that because I want to make sure. I'm not here to be a zealot, but I got respect for Yang, and he's doing really, really well. But he came out and said, it seems like we're throwing rocks at Trump, and all it's doing is leading him towards re-election. And I'm like, bravo, brother. That's exactly what they're doing. Look at this. So let me tell you something. One thing they have not done in any of this impeachment process is actually speak to the motives of Donald Trump. They haven't done it. Did anybody, at any point so far, ask any of the witnesses, has Donald Trump ever expressed fear about losing to Biden? That's a very broad question. No, he hasn't. Probably not, because Trump's too arrogant. Trump goes around bragging like, I'm not going to lose to sleepy, creepy Joe. I'm the best. You think Trump would sit there going like, oh, geez, I'm going to lose to Biden? No. That's why they don't ask. They know. Trump isn't scared of losing to Biden. Did they ask? Did Trump ever look at the polls which show Biden doing better than him and express any fear or discontent or concern? No. Because Trump went out publicly and says, I beat Hillary. You think I'm scared of sleepy Joe Biden? Everybody, like, look, man, I tell you what, in private, Trump's probably even worse than he is in public. This is the funny thing. They complain about Trump tweeting all this stuff. What do you think he's saying privately? You think he's scared of Biden? Oh, no, you got another thing coming, man. But I tell you what, there are real concerns about what happened with Hunter Biden and why he was getting $83,000 a month. So originally they said it was $50K, and then they found more payments, so then it was reported than $83K. And I guess Hunter's response when asked was, oh, well, it's been reported, you can look. And that's apparently substantially more, like 10 times more than what energy board members get in America. So none of this adds up. There's apparently some Ukrainian official who said that, look, oh, no, I'm sorry, I think it was the president of Poland. I'm not sure who it was. You got to fact check me on this one because I don't have that pulled up. I want to talk about the polls, but, apparently he was saying, listen, man, you hire Hunter Biden, you get access to the president. That's what it's all about. Everybody knows it. And then Joe Biden comes in and saves the day when his son is in trouble. That's how I see it, man. Listen, they're trying to gaslight. The media's trying to gaslight, claim there was no Ukrainian meddling. But the New York Times reported it. So you got to tell me, man, do I trust you or not? Because if you tell me not to trust you, well, then what am I supposed to do? Now, I'm not going to believe you now, right? Anyway, here's what happens. Trump hears about Biden corruption, makes a phone call, says, look into this, see what's going on. That was it. Nothing ever happened. But the Democrats, in their desperation to impeach Trump, to get something, said, this is it, this is our chance. And so what they did was they took this little tiny molehill that probably would have never gone anywhere, which didn't go anywhere so far, and they announced it to the world. Joe Biden was accused of corruption by Donald Trump. All of a sudden, Joe Biden's polls are tanking. Look at this. Since the start of impeachment from September to December, Trump now has the lead. Isn't that amazing? And we can see it, I'm sorry, these are swing states, right? This is Michigan, Pennsylvania, Wisconsin. These are very, very important 2020 states. I got to imagine if Biden's the front runner, this will reflect in many of the polls. Now, Bernie Sanders supporters are staunch Sanders supporters. They're there for Sanders. A lot of people are there to vote for or against Republican or Democrat. With this news, Joe Biden looking dirty, and he does. Okay, let me tell you, man, it looks like Joe Biden was scared for his son. And I understand that, but you put country before family in some capacity, you know what I mean? Like, I'll say this. I know a lot of people will put family before anything. I can respect that. But don't be surprised when your community, your country comes to you and says, I can respect you, save your kid. Now you're out. Okay, you're done. We're going to investigate this. You can see that, Biden's lead over Trump actually was diminishing up until September, but boy, did it nosedive. In fact, in Pennsylvania, it went up. Bill Maher said, I love this quote. He said, do I want Biden to be president? Not really, but he's the only one who beats Trump in Ohio. Okay, I hear you. Ohio's not on this list, but when it comes to Michigan, Pennsylvania, Wisconsin, woo, boy. Impeachment just sacrificed the edge the Democrats had. That's impressive. They had an edge. They gave it up. And they're not going to impeach Trump. It's not going to happen. So what was this for? That's mind-blowing to me. Axios, who I'm mad at because they tried gaslighting us the other day, but I'll read it anyway. Quarterly polling by the Republican firm Firehouse Strategies with Optimus had President Trump struggling in the mega battlegrounds of Michigan, Pennsylvania, Wisconsin, and Wisconsin. But in the newest edition, he beats every Democrat. Wow. The big picture. Trump won by an average of 6 points in hypothetical matchups against all current Democratic candidates, including Joe Biden, who was performing well in head-to-head contests against Trump in polling conducted earlier in the year. The poll found that a majority of likely 2020 voters surveyed do not support impeaching and removing Trump from office. What they're saying. Firehouse partner Alex Canant tells Axios, Democrats racing towards impeachment are at serious risk of leaving behind the voters they need to take the White House next year. That's amazing. Oh boy, you know what, man? I'm just sitting back and I'm like, I love it when you get that chance to say, I told you so. They lose, every Democrat loses Trump. Trump beats every single Democrat in the latest poll. That's what impeachment has wrought. What's funny is Axios the other day was slamming Ted Cruz and Republicans for accurately reflecting stories from the press, trying to claim that Ted Cruz is pushing conspiracy theories about Ukraine. Well, the polls don't lie. I mean, I'm kidding. The point is, though, the media wants us to trust them. They try to gaslight us. And now they have no choice but to report their own polling. Uh-oh. Trump is beating every Democrat in mega battleground states. You know what's really funny is that in some of these states, Trump won by thin margins against Hillary Clinton. I kid you not. We're talking like fractions of a percentage point. We're talking like thousands of votes out of the millions there. Now, 6-point lead in a hypothetical matchup against all current Democratic candidates, including Joe Biden, who before this, look at this, in March, 10-point lead over Trump. I tell you what, man. You reap what you sow. But I'm gonna keep this one short today. It's gonna be a little bit shorter because boy, am I hurting from this root canal, to say it for the billionth time. But you can probably tell. I'll leave it there. Stick around. Next segment's coming up at 4 p.m. and it won't be about impeachment. Today's main segment, for those on the podcast who already heard it, it's gonna be about immigration. Yeah, that's it. I'm watching this. It's so insane what they're doing. I swear to God, the Democrat council says the same. Says, Trump used the power of office to benefit himself, and then 10 minutes later, literally the same line. And then they start running clips from the Adam Schiff hearings, and I'm like, dude, you know how these sitcoms would do a clip show where it's like at the end of the season, they would be like, remember that one time? And it would do a flashback and show you something you already saw, but it's just like a funny part of the show, not the whole show. It's literally what they're doing now. But we're seriously only on like episode 7 of the impeachment process, and they're already doing clip shows. It's because they're out of content. Bad writers. And I mean that literally. The people who are supposed to be writing the pitch, the narrative, are not doing it because there's no evidence here. Look, man, there's conjecture, there's opinion, there's criticism of inappropriate actions, but is there hard evidence? No. And the Democrats didn't even ask for it. So now the writers are struggling. What's today's episode going to be about? Let's do a clip show about the past 7 episodes. And then, of course, because they're rehashing all the same old things, Republicans rehash the same old talking points to counter them. I turned it off. And so you know what? I said, I'm gonna go read something else. I'm gonna block impeachment and read other news. But I will end now by saying it was at least entertaining to see Owen Schroyer, protest. I feel you, man. Like, I'm so sick of the of the BS. I mean, you'll never see me do something like that. I'm not a protester kind of person. But I can sympathize. I can empathize, man. I'm so sick and tired of this. They've got nothing, and now they're literally rehashing clips from the last hearings. It's like, dude, if you got nothing else to say. But here's the problem. As Professor Turley, was it? This is like the shortest impeachment process in history because there's nothing. They're like, we found a piece of paper here. And it's like, and there's 8 lines. Trump said, do us a favor, though. Our country has been through a lot, and we want to impeach him for that. And that's it. There's nothing else. Are you kidding? You realize then it's going to turn back on you later if you try and do this. They have nothing. So now here we are. Now Nadler. I'm just so tired of it. And you know what the worst part is? Because of this, the Twitterati Globo journalism sphere is sitting around twiddling their thumbs going like, impeachment. And I'm like, dude, nothing is happening, man. They're saying the same thing 50 million times. You know what is happening, though? Owen Schroyer's protesting. But I tell you why you don't need to, buddy. Because Trump is now beating every Democrat following the launch of the impeachment process. You want to talk about backfiring? I'll see you guys at 4 p.m. YouTube.com/Timcast. Thanks for hanging out.